And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. We're here with you every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. And we've got a great show in line for you today. On today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation the IRS loses. And I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Now, our special segments today, we've got Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless. He'll be talking about new wireless technology. And our own Ray Mailer will be here, and he's going to continue his series, The American Grid. He's going to be talking about the Rams moving to Los Angeles and a number of other things, so you don't want to miss that. It should be a great show if you think about it. But right now, let's get us going. Let's start off with standing by for news. And what we want to do before we do that is let you know that at 3:02 p.m. Pacific time, it is currently 64 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? I want to encapsulate the news, just abbreviate it a little bit so we can get through the things that are most important, and then we'll go in a little more in depth. Here are the 10 things that you need to know for Wednesday, your daily look at late breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that will be talked about all day today and probably tomorrow. Why political message is part of Obama's State of the Union? Well, much of what he has done, both in the U.S. and abroad, could be wiped away by a Republican president, increasing his imperative to keep his party in the White House. And Iran is holding 10 American sailors. The Navy sailors are picked up after 2 small U.S. boats suffer mechanical problems and drift into Iranian waters. They've actually been released. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And the NFL football is returning to Los Angeles, and I mean with a bang. The St. Louis Rams are moving back to Los Angeles, and the San Diego Chargers will have the option to join them in a shared stadium. Well, time will tell what's actually going to happen. There's an awful lot going on, but it's no longer the St. Louis Rams. It's the Los Angeles Rams again. Go figure. And you know what? The IAAF was warned of doping a crisis early on. Track and Field's governing body knew of out-of-control doping by Russian athletes, but waited 6 years to bar them from competition, according to internal documents obtained by the Associated Press. Well, who's been freed from a Texas prison? Yep, the mother of a fugitive teenager known for using an affluenza defense in a fatal drunken driving wreck is released on $75,000 bail. Well, oil grows even cheaper. The price of crude oil falls another 3% to $30.44 a barrel, its lowest level in 12 years. Boy, it's nice at the pump, though, I'll tell you that. Well, how U.S. auto market is changing. With gasoline hovering around $2 a gallon, car companies are having a hard time selling fuel-efficient small cars, hybrids, and electrics. Well, you know what? It's just a matter of time before that oil prices go back up again. It's almost cyclical, right? And here we go. Powerball players go to great lengths for tickets. 6 states don't participate in Powerball, including Hawaii and Alaska, so people there need to cross an ocean or mountains to reach a lottery kiosk. And where Starbucks sees big opportunity, the Seattle company says it expects China to eventually overtake the U.S. as the coffee chain's largest market. And finally, Hall of Famer Monty Irvin dies at 96 years age. The power-hitting outfielder starred for the New York Giants in the 1950s in a career abbreviated by Major League Baseball's exclusion of black players. Well, you know what? Let's get into some in-depth stuff. Here's the one that's going to surprise you a little bit. The ocean search for a Malaysian airliner finds a second shipwreck. The undersea search for the Malaysian airliner that vanished almost 2 years ago has found a likely 19th century shipwreck deep in the Indian Ocean off the West Australian coast, officials said today. A sonar search for the wreckage of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 found what appeared to be a man-made object on December the 19th, the Australian Transport Safety Board said in a statement. A follow-up investigation using an underwater drone captured high-resolution sonar images on January the 2nd that confirmed that the find was a shipwreck, said the Bureau, which is running the search for the Boeing 777, which vanished on March 8, 2014. The shipwreck galleries of the Western Australia Museum conducted a preliminary review of the images and advised the wreck was likely to be a steel or iron ship dating from the turn of the 19th century, the Bureau said. Well, you know what? We'll see. We'll hear more about that. What we're not finding anything about is that Malaysian Airlines jet, right? Well, here's the latest, and it's perfect. Ski trail where an avalanche hit was risky. The latest on the avalanche that has struck the French Alps, the prefect of the Isère region has told BFM TV that the ski trail where a deadly avalanche hit a school group was so risky it had been closed since the beginning of the ski season in December. Jean-Paul Bonnetain said this evening, that the group leader had taken the initiative to lead the school group into this piste. He said that the trail was really of a technical level that is not suitable for beginners or high schoolers aged between 16 and 17 years of age. French President François Hollande has sent his condolences to those close to the victims of the deadly avalanche that hit a school group in the Alps. You know what? Accidents happen. I mean, there's probably some malpractice or some bad stuff going on there, but that really is an accident. Well, the U.S. Navy sailors that we talked about earlier, they were released unharmed by Iran in less than a day. It turned out to be the international crisis that wasn't. Excuse me. Less than a day after 10 U.S. Navy sailors were detained in Iran when their boat drifted into Iranian waters, they and their vessels were back safely today with the American fleet. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry tapped the personal relationship he has formed with Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif in the 3 years of negotiations over Iran's nuclear program. Speaking with him at least 5 times by telephone, Kerry credited the quick resolution to the critical role diplomacy plays in keeping our country secure and strong. U.S. Defense Secretary Ash Carter thanked Kerry after the sailors' release and couched the incident in humanitarian terms, noting that the U.S. Navy routinely provides assistance to foreign sailors in distress. Well, I guess so, right? That's a nice outcome considered some of the stuff that's happened and some of the things that could have happened. Go figure. Well, the latest Iran state TV broadcast U.S. sailors' apology. The latest developments following the release of 10 U.S. Navy sailors detained by Iran after entering its territorial waters. Iranian state TV has rerun a video clip of one of the held U.S. sailors apologizing for the intrusion into Iranian territorial waters. In the footage, filmed before the sailors were released today, the sailor said, "It was a mistake. That was our fault, and we apologize for our mistake." The sailor is not identified by name in the clip, but the TV interviewer says that he is the commander of the group seized by the Iranians. He is then asked if the sailor's GPS had alerted them about the intrusion, to which he replies, "I believe so." Now, don't go away, because when we come back, we've got some more in-depth news for you. We're going to talk about the drug lord flirted with Mexican actress and cared less for a movie. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back, folks.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. You know what? You heard me say it. A drug lord flirted with a Mexican actress, but he cared less for the movie. Let me tell you about it. Transcripts over a month of text messages between drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman and Mexican actress Kate Del Castillo showed the capo was less interested in making a movie about his life than he was in flirting with the actress. The transcripts published today by the newspaper Milenio and confirmed as authentic by a federal official showed that Guzman's main concern was getting face-to-face, getting togethers with Del Castillo, and that he didn't even really know who Sean Penn was. Penn has acknowledged he tagged along for the October 2nd meeting at a mountain hideout originally set up by Del Castillo to discuss plans for a movie about Guzman's life. What that actor's name? The account identified Guzman's writes in one message. He later asks his lawyer to tell him what movies Penn has appeared in. Even when Guzman dedicated a video statement as an exclusive for Del Castillo and Penn, the drug lord stumbles over Penn's first name, pronouncing it Sayon. Yeah, well, you know what? I guess not everybody has the notoriety they think they may have, right? Well, Louisiana Theater Shooters Journal calls the United States a filth farm. The mentally unstable gunman who shot up a Louisiana movie theater last summer left a rambling, hate-filled journal in which he called the U.S. a filth farm, rallied against women, gays, and blacks, and thanked a man accused of killing 9 churchgoers in South Carolina for his wake-up call. The handwritten 40-page journal released today doesn't explain why John Russell Hauser decided to kill 2 people and wound 9 at a screening of Trainwreck last July 23rd. He didn't say a word as he opened fire, killing Jillian Johnson, a 33-year-old musician and business owner, and Macy Bro, a 21-year-old student. He died from his own gun before anyone could question him. But the contents suggest Hauser expected to die and knew others would read the words he had left in his room at a Motel 6. Shortly before the shooting, Hauser wrote on a last page that he was leaving the journal in hopes of truth, my death, all but assured. You know what? If you want my opinion, they ought to burn that journal. It shouldn't see print. It shouldn't see anything. Just burn that thing. Well, United States and Iran forge a new relationship as a nuke deal advances. For diplomats from countries without diplomatic relations, Secretary of State John Kerry and Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif sure are doing a lot of diplomacy. As Iran races to satisfy the terms of last summer's nuclear deal, and the U.S. prepares to suspend sanctions on Tehran as early as Friday, Kerry's talking to Zarif more than any other foreign leader. Those talks included several emergency calls yesterday to secure the release of 10 U.S. sailors after Iran detained them in the Persian Gulf. Since the beginning of the year, Kerry and Zarif have spoken by phone at least 11 times, according to the State Department. They focused on nuclear matters, Iran's worsening rivalry with Saudi Arabia, and peace efforts in Syria. By contrast, America's top diplomat has talked to Saudi Foreign Minister Abdel Jabir only twice. He has consulted once with each Saudi Deputy Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Jordan's King Abdullah, and the foreign ministers of Britain, Egypt, France, Germany, Russia, and the European Union. Kerry is departing today, or this evening, I should say, actually, to meet Al-Jabir in London. He may extend the trip to see Zarif, too, elsewhere in Europe. Well, who knows? Kerry, everybody's saying how great Kerry looked. And, of course, he had broken his foot or whatever happened. But to me, he looked tough. He didn't look great. He looked tough. Well, in record Powerball game, a look at winners and losers. When the largest ever lottery prize is finally awarded, the winners and losers will extend well beyond the lucky few who hit the jackpot and the multitudes of disappointed ticket buyers. Here's a breakdown of how Powerball affects the players, the public, and others. For the winner government programs, the biggest Powerball winner is actually state government and the jurisdictions that participate. That's 44 states, as well as the District of Columbia, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. Each jurisdiction spends the money raised through the lottery differently, with the rules determined by state legislatures. In some states, the money goes directly to education or college scholarships. Elsewhere, it might fund transportation. Some states send it to their general fund, where lawmakers decide how to use it. The money raised by a state depends on ticket sales, with larger population states usually generating more money. In fiscal year 2015, for example, Powerball and other lottery games generated $74.5 million for Iowa's general fund. In California, the nation's most populous state, the games raised about $1.3 billion for education in the 2014 fiscal year. Well, for the winner, convenience store owners of convenience stores and other ticket-selling locations earn a small percentage of each sale. But more important, people often buy something extra when they shop for Powerball tickets. The Come and Go chain, which has 430 gas stations and convenience stores in 11 mostly Midwestern states, has seen a significant increase in sales from the Powerball rush, though spokeswoman Christy Bell declined to give specific figures. At the city marketplace, at a tiny marketplace shop in downtown Des Moines, owner Anastasia Walsh and her overall sales have been up about 10% in recent weeks because of the Powerball sales. I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't even eat, Walsh said. I couldn't even sit down because I'm constantly standing up. I mean, there's people lined up. It's crazy. Well, how about the actual winner? The winners of smaller prizes, lottery officials often note that while the jackpot gets all the attention, far more players get a nice consolation prize of $1 million for matching the 5 white balls, but missing the Powerball. And if they pay an extra $1 when they buy their ticket, that prize can double to $2 million. In last Saturday's drawing, 25 people matched the 5 numbers and won $1 million, and 3 players paid the extra buck and won $2 million. Players also receive much smaller prizes for matching as few as 3 numbers or just the Powerball. Well, Let's talk about the winners, the actual winners. There hasn't been a winner since early November, and that's why the jackpot grown so large from an initial $40 million to $1.5 billion. As more people play Powerball, the chances for a winner improve simply because more of the 292.2 million possible number combinations are covered. The chances also grow that more than one person will match the 5 white balls and 1 red the Powerball, meaning the prize could be divvied up between 2 or more winners. A single winner could choose between an annuity payment of $1.5 billion over 30 years or a lump sum of $930 million. Those figures are before federal and state taxes would generally eat up close to half of the money. So, having said that, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to do the IRS loses. In the first case, a tax court reverses itself on filed when mailed rule. I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, General Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. I don't know about you, but it sends chills up and down my spine, a hair up in the back of my neck. Of course, just in case, most of you have never seen me, I don't have any hair on the top of my head, so that's kind of where that goes. But you know what? Let's get right to it. The IRS loses. Tax court reverses itself on filed when mailed rule for motions. Yeah. You know what? A taxpayer's petition to go to tax court was rejected by the court for a technical reason. Within the 90 days allowed to appeal, the taxpayer mailed in a motion seeking reconsideration, but it was delivered to the court after the deadline. Here's the conflict. In an earlier case, the tax court held that the tax code's filed when mailed rule that applies to the IRS filings did not apply to such court motions. Now, a court of appeals reversed this, but that bound the tax court only in that one appeal circuit. But there's a new ruling out, and the tax court will now accept the filed when mailed rule for such motions nationwide, and the taxpayer's case is going to be accepted. Well, here's another one for you. The IRS loses. Mixed motives behind a trust. Save it from the IRS. Well, Jacob Eversoff received a $700,000 tax bill from the IRS that he contested. At about the same time, he created a trust for his children to which he transferred his home and $200,000. The IRS said the trust was set up just to avoid the tax claim, and so was invalid against it. Eversoft, who was age 68, said the trust was an estate planning device to keep his assets from his estranged wife and be sure that they went to his children. He went to court. This is what the judge said. Both motives doubtless existed, but at the time, the estate planning motive predominated, as shown by the fact that Eversoft left more than $700,000 outside the trust. So its assets are beyond the IRS's reach. That's just common sense. It's just common sense. Let me give you one. The IRS conceded. You heard me say this all the time, that they only concede when they're pretty sure they can't prevail in court, and that's what's going on here. Here's the case. Ignorance of rehabilitation tax credit excuses a late application for that credit. Here's the case. A property owner rehabilitated a certified historic structure in a manner that qualified for the rehabilitation tax credit of up to 20% of rehabilitation costs, but failed to apply for the credit until after the deadline for doing so. Why? The owner hadn't known the credit even existed and applied for it only after learning of it. Here's the IRS ruling. An extension of the deadline can be granted if a taxpayer acted reasonably and in good faith. That was the case here. So a late application for the credit is absolutely allowed. But you have to know, if they went to court, the judge would have ordered it that way anyway. So, just know that they only concede when they don't have any place to go with it. Now, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing things. Well, that's where we're at right now when we talk about inside the IRS. Yeah, the Twilight Zone theme is actually appropriate for this because the IRS is just sort of out in Neverland. But let's get right to it. Here's the thing, especially now that we're in tax season, you need to be prepared to document your deductions. Here's the thing. The IRS is now requiring tax return preparers to adopt a standard of more likely than not before they claim a tax deduction or take a particular tax position on a client's income tax return. Meaning, it is more likely than not that the return would be upheld ultimately by a court. Now, the tax return preparer is now liable for a penalty of up to the greater of $5,000 or 50% of the income that he or she earned from preparing that tax return. So, give that some thought. Let me give you one more before we take our commercial break. Be careful before deducting entrance fees and monthly maintenance fees paid to a continuing care retirement community. That's a CCRC. Now, CCRCs generally provide qualified long-term care services for which a medical deduction may be available. Here's the problem. In their effort to sell apartment units, sponsors of some CCRCs overestimate the portion of these fees that are tax deductible. That's the portion used to provide medical services. So you got to be careful. If the IRS audits you, it will require that you prove with independent evidence that the amount deducted is correct, and that's not so easy. Also, the bigger your living quarters, the higher the entrance fee and monthly maintenance. However, the amount of attributable to medical expenses is not a function of the size of the apartment. So keep that in mind when you're getting into the CCRCs. Now, don't go away. We're about to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. We're going to find out what's new in wireless technology. Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:34 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 64 degrees here at the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, if you're in New York City, it's 26 degrees and clear. But you know what? Waiting in the wings is our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. He's going to tell us all about what's new and exciting in wireless technology. Hey, Joel, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, Robert. How about yourself?
I'm doing terrific. You know what? Every time you come on the air, I can hear the smile in your face.
Well, I do have a smile on my face today. I don't know why, but
You know what? And it's got to be cold out where you're at. Well, Taurus, let's see. It looks like 61 degrees right now.
it's about what it is out in your parts. We're not getting anything special. No special preferences in Torrance today.
Yeah. So, hey, listen, I heard a little scuttlebutt about AT&T is offering unlimited data again if you buy their package, their total package.
Yeah, I heard something to that effect, too. I think I'd rather have root canal work than commit all of my services to AT&T. But, yes, I did hear, I think it was a bundle where you have to do their U-verse and all that other stuff. And then and to me, I wouldn't do that for my worst enemy.
Well,
I could not go there.
Yeah, when I was shopping around and I looked at U-verse, I mean, they don't offer a strong enough broadband for me to be able to even broadcast on. Now, as you know, I do have AT&T on my cell phone, but I'm going to Fios, Verizon's Fios, and that's 100 megabytes up and down.
No, that's great stuff. As you know, I'm a Time Warner Business Channel partner, and my best clients come off that AT&T U-verse stuff, and it's not hard to please them because my product is faster and my product is cheaper.
Yeah.
Now, when you're comparing the Fios, my product isn't faster, but it is cheaper. Fios is great. I have no beefs with it. They just don't give it away.
When I was in school, Joel, they had this little box, the ball, round up piece of pie, right? And that pie was cut in three pieces. And basically, in one corner or 1/3 of it said fast, 1/3 of it said cheap, and 1/3 of it said quality. The thing is that you could not get more than two of those boxes. You couldn't get it cheap if you wanted it fast. You couldn't
exactly.
And so basically that rule has actually held true for a long time. You don't get two of the boxes. You can't get all three of them. You had to give up something. And that's sort of, if budget is an issue, then what you look for is what provides you the majority of what it is you're looking for.
Well, I've always learned if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. There is no free lunch, and you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
So I think that would, fall in that realm.
Yeah. So listen, what is new and exciting in the world of technology?
We have awesome stuff. There's a new product that's not available yet, but I can't wait for it to come out. It is a smartphone battery pack that recharges your iPhone in 6 minutes.
Oh, you're kidding.
Actually, no, I'm lying. It charges your iPhone 6 in 3 minutes. So it's even better.
Jeez.
It's crazy. It's a brand new product, not out yet. It was shown at the CES. They showed a prototype at the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. And there will be a Kickstarter coming out shortly for this product. It's anticipated to sell for $60. And they're saying spring of 2016. And let me figure out if I have the name. I think it's what the heck.
Well, while you're doing that, my son-in-law and my daughter got the 6 the 6 Plus, and and they don't like the size of it. It's just too big. They wish they had gotten the 6S.
Well, ask them if they want what carrier.
You know what? I have no idea.
Well, if they're with T-Mobile, I got a 6 with 128 gig, and I would trade it for a 6 Plus, even with 64 gig, just because I do like the size. And I do hear a lot of people that have that beef. They can't one-hand it.
Yeah.
The bigger one.
And it doesn't fit in your back pocket, and you can't sit on it. That's my son-in-law.
Well, I got big hands. I don't put them in the back pocket. And, the truth be told, I'd probably rather go with the big one. So, I have a 128 gig 6, and I would definitely move to a 6 Plus. But that being said, so this is the product is Simpez, SIMPIZ, Simpez iTron battery charger. SIMPIZ ITRON. As you know, all of this stuff is on our Facebook/DR Wireless page that we're going to discuss today. So any of your listeners can catch all this stuff right off our Facebook page for the details.
Sounds good.
Looks like a great product. The other product that's not really new, but I don't know if you've heard of LifeProof. They make those Frey power cases, F-R-E. Well, they make a waterproof iPhone 6 and 6 Plus case, and this one is like a multi-case combination. It's got the built-in battery capability, and it gives waterproof, dirt-proof, snow-proof, and drop-proof capabilities.
So you're going to go right out and get that, right? And you're going to attach a cable to it on your surfboard, and then the other cable to your ankle.
It's the only place I can get solitude out there. I don't want to even take phone calls, make phone calls, take pictures, make pictures. Don't want to do anything. So I'm leaving my phone in the car.
All right.
That's what voicemail's for, Robert.
I have a whole new respect for you now, Joel.
So you got to, go with what you can. Well, I'm thinking about it. There's another product that is coming out soon that I think I'm going to really like. It's called the JBL Clip 2. And this is not the Clip 1. The Clip 1 is here now. Didn't impress me that much. The Clip 2 is a new, improved version. It's kind of a round Bluetooth speaker that has a clip. You could actually even clip it on your belt clip or anything. But very cool thing. It's 5 different colors. It's got incredible sound, and it will link to any Bluetooth device, smartphone, and give you some really dynamic sound. They're up from 5 hours to 8 hours on the battery life, which is a big improvement.
Yeah.
And before I forget, because I'm always rushed to do this, anybody, again, who wants more information about what we're talking about today can get it on our website, www.D as in David, R as in Rabbit, Wireless, drwireless.com. We also have this stuff on our blog, drwireless.com/blog. And again, we also have this stuff on our Facebook page, Facebook/DR Wireless.
Joel, you represent a number of companies. It's got to be very difficult for you to be objective when you actually start talking about these different programs that are out there. How do you manage that?
Well, it's funny you ask that because I just came out with a brand new program, and you're right. Previously, our business model was for 25 years to get paid for activations. That was the holy grail. Activating your phone. The carriers paid us. Some carriers pay more than others. Some don't pay us for upgrades. So, yeah, it's very hard to be objective when one carrier, may pay you peanuts, but that may be the carrier that's really right for my client, where another carrier may pay me a tremendous amount, and that carrier may not be the best fit. So that has always been difficult to be objective, and I changed our business model because of that. My new business model is we're carrier consultants, and we guarantee a better deal even for those who stay with the same carrier. And my expertise, Robert, is I've been doing this for 25 years. I've activated thousands of phones with all 4 of the major carriers. I know the pros. I know the cons. I know which carrier is best. I know how to get to the retention departments. I know how to play them against each other. I know how to get you a better deal. So our deal is we guarantee no cost whatsoever. I will give your users a free analysis, business users, to determine if I can save them money. If I can save them money, which 99% of the time we can, we offer 2 things. They can either pay our consulting rate, which is $125 an hour. It's usually an hour, maybe 2 at worst to do this. Or they can pay us nothing and just pay us what we would save them each month, just one time. So in other words, if I can save, for example, one major university, yesterday I saved $1,200 a month on 30 lines. And they had a great deal, but I negotiated a better deal. So in their case, they make one payment to me of $1,200 for what I saved them for that 1 month, and they're saving like $14,000 a year. So,
well, they can't complain about that.
That's how it works. And this way, for a company that doesn't want to spend any more than they spend every month, that way they don't even have to pay our consulting fee. They just pay us the first month, of the savings that we get them. So, and then like I said, for those few companies that have the best deal and I can't do any better, I will congratulate them for being very savvy and knowing the business as well as I do, and telling them you're in great hands, don't make any changes, no cost whatsoever.
You know what they call that, Joel?
What?
They call that integrity.
Well, I find that, not many people have it, and it's very hard to get it. It's very easy to lose it.
Yeah.
So I try to tell it like it is, and often it's at my expense, but I feel that people come back, and if I can't make a few bucks off you today, maybe you're going to refer a friend to me, and I'll make a few bucks off them. But I figure if you do right, good karma, something good should come back.
Well, you know what? You got my vote. Why don't you take the next 20 seconds, give people some contact information before we take our break?
Again, anybody who wants to contact me and discuss any of what we're talking about today can do so. My personal email address is joel@drwireless.com. Once again, all of this is on our website, www.drwireless.com. All on our Facebook.com/drwireless. We also send out a newsletter. You can register on our website.
And we're talking to our own Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless. You know what? If he doesn't have the answer, you got asking the wrong question. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Dr. Wireless after these brief messages.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, who, you know what, he knows all there is to know about the packages that are out there for wireless technology. You know, the one thing we didn't talk about, Joel, before, you know, and we talked about your integrity and how you can save businesses a lot of money. But how about people are just getting in business for the first time? They're brand new businesses. Shouldn't they be calling you too?
You know what? That's amazing. I should have called you to script this, but it wouldn't have been any better. The other services that I offer are business development. So funny you should mention that. We specialize in establishing businesses. And what that means is anybody thinking about starting a business, there are steps that need to be taken. You need certain permits, you need certain licensing, you need a website. Ideally, you should have mail exchange, so you have, your name at your website. And there's basically some, marketing and other considerations. But we can help with all of that stuff. We've established many businesses for other companies, as well as a few for our own. So that is something we can certainly help with and give advice with. The other thing is wireless IT security and risk mitigation. If you're going to start a business, you need to communicate securely. We deal with lots of doctors and hospitals, where there's HIPAA compliance you have to be concerned about. And there are certain formats and platforms out there that not even the FBI has access to. So if you're talking, sending patient information, you want to use one of these platforms that can't be hacked or intercepted.
That's for sure.
How about some fun stuff, Robert? I got a good one here for you. I was just reading a study of the 10 fastest airports for Wi-Fi in the world.
Oh, really?
So of the 10 fastest places you're going to get airport Wi-Fi, the fastest one was just under 50 megabits per second. Yeah, but do you want to take a guess what two countries were in the top 10 the most?
What two countries? So I'm going to guess it's not the United States. How about Japan?
And who?
And how about, Australia?
Okay, no on both.
Oh, you're kidding.
But don't feel bad because I only got one out of two right myself. My guess would have been South Korea. Everything I've heard about South Korea is, they have the fastest internet speeds. Well, apparently they don't give it to their airports. The fastest, let me give you the second fast. The country that had the most facilities, the most airports in that top 10, the second most was the United States.
Oh, it was?
They had, I believe it was 3 airports in the top 10. One of them was Bill and Hillary Clinton Airport, wherever that is. I'm going to guess either.
It's got to be Arkansas. That's got to be Arkansas, yeah.
Probably. But there was 3 in the U.S., but the one country that had 5 of the top 10 fastest Wi-Fi airports in the world was Thailand.
Really?
5 airports in Thailand have mind-bending speeds for Wi-Fi. I would have never guessed.
Wow. Huh.
And while we're on a roll here, Robert, there is some new technology that is going to be a good thing. You've probably heard they're working on hydrogen battery technology now.
Mm-hmm.
That's the latest. Lithium-ion replaced nickel metal hydride, which replaced NiCad. Lithium-ion was great. The only problem with lithium-ion is it had a tendency to burst into flames.
Well, that's not good.
Not good. And you've heard about the hoverboards that were taken off the market.
Oh, yeah.
These are exploding. Phones are exploding in pockets. Lithium-ion is brilliant. And they wanted to make automobiles out of these things, but it's that explosion capability that's a problem. Well, apparently somebody developed some compound. And this compound, when you treat these lithium-ion batteries with this composite material, it prevents them from bursting into flames if you overcharge or if there's an electrical short developed. And that will lead to safer designs of lithium-ion batteries. I love lithium-ion because they're light, they're powerful, but they're very, very volatile. So this is apparently the solution, and so you don't have to worry about electric cars or hoverboards or phones catching fire with this new coating.
I mean, did you actually
you're going to see that very soon?
Yeah, did you see some of those hoverboards that had caught fire? I mean, they melted down to little balls.
I know, it's frightening.
Yeah.
It's very frightening. But this is really good news because this has been such a great technology, and that's really been the only downside to it.
Well, I hadn't heard about the phones exploding in your pocket. I mean, that scares the hell out of you.
Yeah, not a good thing at all, certainly.
Wow.
But so these are all good things, and we're excited about this new this hydrogen technology. Should be interesting. So we're waiting on that, and we'll know more about that. I'm pretty sure we're going to hear more about that very shortly.
So what's the difference between the hydrogen battery technology and the lithium battery technology?
Well, I'm told that the hydrogen is very much like lithium, the qualities of lithium, but without the volatility, meaning, without the ability of the thing to explode. So I think that's been the big drawback on these electric cars, why they haven't moved forward with the electric vehicles.
Because of the danger of them exploding and catching fire.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I got some more good news for Android users, Robert.
All right. You mean besides the fact that they can get my app?
That's true. Obviously, and hopefully people know that the Robert Cardoza app is available not just in the iPhone, but in the Android Play Store as well. So anybody who doesn't have this app, download it immediately. Stop what you're doing and download it immediately.
There you go.
Anyhow, lastly but not leastly, as you know, I haven't been a big advocate of the new Samsung Galaxy S6 model. Primarily three drawbacks to it. One, I didn't like the fact that you could no longer remove the battery. I didn't like the fact that you could no longer remove the micro SD memory card. And I didn't like the fact that they no longer made it waterproof. Well, apparently, Joel wasn't the only one who didn't like that fact, because on the S7, rumors have it that the micro SD removable card is coming back, removable battery is coming back, and waterproof is coming back.
Wow. You must have hit somebody's hot button, Joel.
Well, somebody is, but like I mentioned, if Apple, the other rumor that we talked about is we're hearing that Apple is going to do away with their 3.5 millimeter jack, and they're going to go with a Lightning port.
Oh, man.
And I remember Motorola did this once, with their micro USB plug instead of the conventional plug, and it drove me nuts.
You know what's going to happen to Apple? The same thing that happened to Coke when Coke came out with the new Coke.
Oh, when they got away
Coke?
From they changed the classic to the new, and everybody hated it.
And they lost so much market share. I mean, they did a reversal so fast. Apple is going to cost themselves market share over this psychological ploy to gain more profits by putting a new plug into the phone. That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of. I have got more chargers and plugs for all the different phones I've got. The other day, I just wound up going through a whole slew of stuff and tossing them out.
Well, I got a JBL headset I recently bought. This was only $50, but I know lots of people that spend $200, $300, $400 for these really, really high-end products.
Yeah.
With the 3.5 millimeter jack. And I don't think these guys are going to want to throw those things away just because Apple wants a proprietary design. And I guarantee you Apple's going to say that we want to make our chassis thinner, and it was necessary to go with this flatter design to achieve that. But the reality is, it's a big decision in terms of dollars, and they're going to sell a lot of accessories for people who want wired hands-free. So,
yeah, I mean, if you buy the phone and nothing fits it, you got to buy everything else to go with it. It's all a marketing ploy for more dollars.
Yes, and I don't think it's going to go over this time, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, my friend, it's that time. Go ahead and give out that contact information before we say sayonara.
Always goes fast, Robert.
Yeah.
Again, all of this content we've discussed can be accessed at drwireless.com. Or you can go to our Facebook page, which is Facebook/DR Wireless. Alternatively, I can be contacted, Joel@drwireless.com.
Hey, Joel, great show. I look forward to talking to you next week. It's always good. Stay dry, or at least forget about staying dry. Just have fun.
Stay warm and dry.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Take care, Robert.
For the rest of you listeners, do not go away. When we come back from this commercial message, we're going to be with Ray Mailer and his American Grid. We're going to be talking about, well, you know what? Meet me in St. Louis, and then we'll talk about it. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
By Miss American Pie, drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye and singing, "This'll be the day that I die."
And now, from the National Archives of Public Planning, located in the basement of his Long Beach Reference Library, the unappreciated but widely acknowledged expert on past, present, and future infrastructure planning, let's welcome Mr. Ray Mailer and his American Grid.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:03 p.m. Pacific time, currently 64 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, in Chicago, Illinois, it's currently 22 degrees and overcast. But you know what? It's the hot seat has started. We're here with our own Ray Mailer and his American Grid. Hey, Ray, good afternoon, my friend.
Good afternoon, Robert. Great to hear your voice.
Well, good to hear yours as always. So listen, when I went on a commercial break, I was saying to meet me in St. Louis, but the truth is it's California, here I come. The Rams are going to pick up their old name, the Los Angeles Rams, all over again, huh?
Yeah, all over again. Yeah, that's right. Meet me in St. Louis, but it looks like St. Louis is meeting us here on our turf.
Yeah, and St. Louis is kind of ticked off. So is San Diego, for that matter.
Yeah, although I guess San Diego still has an option, to possibly do the partnership originally proposed with the Raiders. So that could be potentially interesting, but I'm not sure the complementarity is quite there with the Rams and the Chargers, because I think they both drew from the same fan base, in portions of Orange County and the Inland Empire particularly.
Yeah. But isn't it interesting? I mean, Ray, how long has it been since we've had an NFL team in Los Angeles? God, it's a long time.
21 years.
God, has it been that long? You know, and you think about the size of Los Angeles and the sportsmen that live in Los Angeles. How is it that the NFL didn't ever see the benefit of having a team in Los Angeles? And for all that time.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just strictly from an economics perspective. Granted, Los Angeles is kind of a different city than many of the others. Yeah. But it is hard to believe that the NFL wouldn't have had to go within a few years of the Rams and Raiders leaving. I was a little surprised, but to be perfectly honest, I never really missed them.
Well, you know what? Now I've got to go way back, Ray, because you know what? I used to say all the time, it was really, really hard to be a Rams fan.
So I heard. I think the nickname was the Lambs.
Yeah, it was really hard to be. Yeah, it was the U's. It was really hard to be a Ram fan. When Youngblood was there, I mean, he was something else. And I'm trying to think of some of the players, but I've gone blank on it. But it was fun to watch him. But boy, it was tough to be a fan and get blasted like that.
Yeah, exactly. For our 20-year drought, I always thought that, again, Los Angeles being fundamentally different, and on top of it, we've got, two, very viable college teams, they're national players.
Oh, yeah.
And that draws, a lot of your football fans, who are looking for that level of game. And the pageantry associated with this, especially the USC games. The pageantry is probably pretty comparable to a pro team.
Well, you can't walk into the Coliseum to a USC game and not just reverberate with the excitement. I mean, it's unbelievable, the excitement that when you start, you go to a USC game. But the same thing is going to happen. When the Rams come back, they're going to have to do an awful lot to get the fans all geared up. You hear some of the hype going on, and you hear the media really hyping it. You can imagine that they've got a real challenge in front of them, because they're going to have to get the fans back up at it again, because the Rams are going to, if you think about it, St. Louis is really ticked. So they lose that fan base overnight. They're gone. And so when the Rams come to LA, they've got to get that fan base started now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that got it started already upon the announcement with a pep rally of sorts in Inglewood. So it looks like there was some good coverage in the papers.
Oh yeah, the papers, and I've been listening to it on the radio all day.
Yeah. So it's pretty exciting. We're going to have a new stadium in Inglewood on the old site of Hollywood Park.
Yeah,
and apparently there is I guess it's still possible to cobble together the Chargers sharing that facility with the Rams.
Yeah.
So
how do they do that? I mean, can you imagine the logistics of that? I mean, two pro football teams, and at some point their schedules have to collide.
Yeah, I think there's a playoff risk. I don't know if they're in different conferences. As testament, I haven't paid that much attention to the NFL, but I think it would be relatively easy just to schedule the two teams, when one's away, the other one's home, and that kind of covers your regular season. I think you run into trouble, potentially during the playoffs.
Yeah.
If for some reason both are advancing, maybe some special arrangement needs to be made.
Yeah.
But that would be a shame. One of the interesting things I read kind of in the wake of this decision is what to do with the temporary stadium, because the Inglewood facility won't be open until 2019. And to be perfectly honest, having some familiarity with this process, I kind of think 2019 is optimistic.
Really? Is it because of the red tape? Because, can construction take that long?
Yeah. Well, construction potentially can, but the real issue is all the project approvals. Yeah. Although come to think of it, I think I've read somewhere that the stadium proposal is substantially along on the environmental review process.
Yeah.
So, and in as much as it's a similar use, there are probably a few things you don't have to check out again. So probably the worst thing that's on the site right now is horse manure.
Well, is there an expiration date? And they were doing feasibility studies, some time ago. And when they do that, is there an expiration date on that? Where, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, but this is no good anymore. We got to start from scratch.
I'm not exactly sure of this area of the law. It's fairly complicated, and there are kind of high priests who know these things.
Yeah.
They're usually attorneys.
It's interesting that you would say high priest and attorney in the same breath.
Not applying anything at all disparaging about, say, a Catholic priest, but just kind of this, the environmental process is so complicated that it needs to be your career specialty. You can't just kind of waltz into it and say and provide an answer to a challenging question such as you do. One of the things I note is that a member or organized member of the public can make points that really challenge the process. The law is structured such that it's supposed to accommodate reasonable requests by the citizens, and so as a consequence, I was thinking, even if we don't run into a statute of limitations sort of thing where the CIR is no longer effective, I think it's always still open to challenge. Somebody can get up and say, "Look, it's old. Yeah. We want you to do it again." The following things have changed in the last, say, 6 years since you approved this. So, but some of the temporary stadium discussion has been one of the interesting things. When you think about it, there are only a small number of facilities that could be home to an NFL team, and kind of in order.
Why is that? Why is that?
Well, you need both big enough field and transportation infrastructure and enough seats.
Oh, yeah.
So three of them are written off, although theoretically suitable. Three of them are written off almost right off the bat. The city of Carson, which was to be the location for the Raiders-Chargers partnership, they do have a facility called the StubHub Center that has a big enough field, but it only has about 27,000 seats. And that's just not going to fly even on a temporary basis for an NFL team.
Right.
So they're not under consideration. Angel Stadium just has too few seats also for an NFL stadium. Dodger Stadium arguably could be big enough, and for a while they did entertain the possibility of a temporary location there, but they would have to remove permanent seating to make room for the field. And on top of it, let's say the Dodgers actually do make it into the postseason, that presents a lot of schedule conflicts.
Yeah.
As well as, and I remember seeing this in Chicago. I think the Bears were in Comiskey Park for a while, and the Bears really tore up Comiskey Park, making it difficult for the White Sox to finish their season. So that just leaves the Rose Bowl and the Coliseum. And I do know that from knowing some residents who live near the Rose Bowl, that while the city of Pasadena might welcome greater use of the Rose Bowl facility, the residents nearby are much less excited.
Yeah, I'll bet because the traffic and congestion and noise and.
Oh yeah, and I've been to a couple of events recently, and I really developed an appreciation for what it must be like to be a resident, pretty close to the stadium. I'll bet it's great Monday to Friday. When there's never anything, because there's a huge park space, and the Rose Bowl Stadium itself looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
But so we kind of have the city are going to be pitted against the residents, in terms of opening up 8 or maybe even 16 more weekends of activity.
Well, let me get into an area that you are conversant in. Let's assume that somebody did want to. There was land, but there was residential around it. But somebody wanted to put in a stadium like that. Would that be something that a community or a city would involve the eminent domain laws in to get it in because they want the tax base?
Yeah, potentially, and arguably that's what the city of Inglewood has done. Although I believe largely without any need for eminent domain, because they're reusing an underutilized facility.
Yeah.
So the city of Inglewood has basically done that. There may have been some issues like that with the Carson proposal. They also had a large, parcels of land, but big enough chunk of land. But its big issue was soil contamination. Much of that land had been former garbage dump and landfill. Mm-hmm. So there were all kinds of toxic issues. In fact, I've had some conversations with some of the engineering firms involved in the remediation. Just kind of this ongoing years, almost decades long remediation effort to clean up the soil.
There's some other pollutant issues too. I mean, it's not just the stadium. They have to have a huge area for parking, which brings in all that exhaust fumes, right?
Yep, absolutely. Exhaust, and then, you never go to a football game without buying burgers and beers.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a tremendous amount of trash generated.
Tailgating.
The tailgating events. And of course, I'm sure I don't know if it's done quite as much anymore, but everybody runs their barbecues and they got all kinds of things happening. Fun atmosphere, but you're right. Quite a bit of pollutant. And that's part of the environmental impact considered in the environmental studies that are performed. And then basically the public is supposed to have the opportunity to say, yes, we accept the risk, or no, we don't, or somewhere in the middle where we say you can, but we want you to fix it in the following way.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, and that makes sense. You have to have compassion for the residents around there, because that it's not going to, unless you're a diehard sports fan, you're not going to be a happy camper.
Yeah, that's right. And arguably, I kind of favored the Inglewood location over the Carson location. Mm-hmm. Carson location being not especially close, but somewhat closer to my home. Mm-hmm. And I am aware of the impact of a football stadium from my time in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I used to live a few blocks from Michigan Stadium, where the university played. And especially when you're a student, it's nothing but fun. But traffic, noise, congestion, basically, I imagine if I lived there, several years after graduating, I would have been one of those folks who just fleed Ann Arbor on Saturdays and just go do something else outside the city.
Yeah, let me out of here.
Yeah, exactly. And make sure I leave before everybody starts showing up.
Yeah.
Because there's an impact where 100,000 people show up all at the same time. It's huge. It's air pollution, it's noise, it's trash, it's just all kinds of stuff.
Well, you know what? I mean, if they're talking about 2019, which is really only 3 years away, it's really not very long. We were talking about, and we're going to go on a commercial break in about 20 seconds, but we were talking about, the expansion of light rail and some of these things that are going on. Wouldn't that be the perfect thing to put some kind of public transportation into, to alleviate some of the pressure of the congestion of cars going in there?
Absolutely. You've hit a good nail on the head. Anyway, I'm not sure if that metaphor worked out, but the Crenshaw light rail line will pass arguably close to the stadium site, but it's not that close. so it'll probably still require some sort of bus service to shuttle you, the final mile or two to get to the stadium. But definitely, that is a great way to get to a sports stadium and manage a lot of the impacts to the community. If you can just get all those people not driving in, that helps a lot. Also reduces your land costs, in terms of needing parking space. Although I think frequently that's often viewed as a profit center, the ability to charge for parking on the stadium's land.
Well, it's a profit center, and I was talking to John Hansen not that long ago, and John does our a little wine drinker segment on Mondays, and he one of the things that he and his wife enjoy doing is they pick up the train and go to San Diego for games, and they love that, just going on the train. They can drink on the train both directions. They can eat on the train. They can just party on the train and not have to worry about anything.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, especially that train descent to San Diego. It's beautiful. It goes right along the coast. You've got some spectacular views from it. And, Amtrak does a nice job of making it comfortable and serve a little wine, cheese, sandwiches, all kinds of stuff. Really, really pleasant trip.
Well, listen, we've got to go on a commercial break. When we come back, maybe you can give us an update on light rail. You were talking about it last week.
Or high-speed rail.
Or high-speed rail. That'll work. That'll work for me.
Okay.
We'll be right back with Ray Mailer and the American Grid right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking with our own Ray Mailer and his American Good. Hey, you know, Ray, one of the things that we didn't talk about, and I think we touched on it last week, was when an NFL team is going to move from one city to another, it costs about $500 million just to make the move, forgetting about the facility and everything else. That's a big investment. They're not going to do that for the short term, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't imagine they would either, and I'm sure that enters into an owner's calculus for, is it time to move? And probably looking at, $500,000 in overhead. I'm sure they'll try and, stretch out whatever debt instruments used to, get the longest possible debt instrument so they can turn a profit sooner rather than later. But, I am sure that enters into the calculation about whether to move. So I would assume 3 teams were ready to pony up $500,000 to move. They were that unhappy, with their locations. Yeah. $500 million, I should say.
Yeah. Now, and the fact that they're unhappy, is it because the communities or the local governments are just not providing them with the kinds of facilities and the kind of benefits that they want? Is that what it is, or is it because the fan base is not supporting them?
Yeah, I think it could be either or a combination of them. I always kind of wondered about, an owner complaining about, the stadium is inadequate. I understand that, you may be able to charge more per seat with certain types of seating, like the boxes and things like that. But, or at least back in the day, the stadium itself and the land was owned by the team owner. Yeah. And that would give that team owner complete control. I guess this is one of the consequences where, we the people have agreed to build stadiums for owners. Because then, if the owner's not happy with it, they do have cause for complaint and potentially to move and leave the city holding the bag. For a big facility that might not have been perfect for the NFL team, but you could have done a lot with it and probably generated very good revenue.
Yeah.
But then, the second issue would be, is the fan base eroding or just not, able to pay. I imagine the scenario is also possible where they have too many luxury boxes and can't sell them. And not enough, tickets for us plebeians who just want to pay $10 to get in and see the team.
I can remember years ago when you could get into a Dodger game for $6-7 and not be out in the outfield, but actually be in the stadium, and not bad tickets. But those days are gone.
Yeah, they sure are. Baseball, I guess, is my weakness, and I'm surprised how much I wind up burning, at a game. Oh, yeah. But what the consequence is, I really just go to one game a year. When I was younger and the ticket prices were similar to what you're describing, I'd go to 3 or 4 or 5 games a year, and just see the Sox and the Cubs and see them often. But now, it's a big deal.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, I certainly understand that the economy and inflation and all the things that are going on, and I certainly understand now they got these the high-powered players. I mean, the players, while they make a lot of money, they don't all make a lot of money, and they don't make near as much money as the owners do. The owners are not complaining because they're making money. They're not losing money out there. So the thing is that what they're going to do is price their fans right out of the ballpark.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess when stadiums aren't filled, that's when the owners will know they've overstretched. Yeah. But the stadiums are still filled.
But how many of them are filled with corporate sponsorships that they don't even? The corporations are begging their salespeople to give these tickets to their customers to get them into the stadium because the seats are empty.
Yeah, well, and that's I think how the game changes, because now it's really a business investment, by say a salesperson, or somebody who's trying to market services. That kind of changes the economics of the game. They're not there to have a hot dog and a beer and see Mike Trout make a great catch.
Yeah,
they're there to schmooze and to eventually win a $2 million sale.
Yeah, I remember being at the old Wrigley Field when New York was playing the Yankees were playing the Angels, and it was who was playing for the Yankees? Yogi Berra was catching, Mickey Mantle was in center field, Roger Maris was on first base. You had Whitey Ford out and pitching, and I mean that was exciting, and that was an $8 ticket. And not only was it an $8 ticket, I was right off of first base.
Oh boy! Wow,
those are the good old days. I am an old son of a gun, but those were the good old days.
Yeah. My grandparents, when they emigrated from Kansas, as a young couple, they moved right next to the Wrigley Field in Chicago. And that is because they live so close, and because I think they charged 25 or 50 cents to sit in the bleachers, and Wrigley Field's small enough that even a bleacher seat's pretty close.
Yeah.
They were young. They didn't have two nickels to rub together, but that was one of their great pleasures, and it was an essential part of their 64 years of marriage. Being a Cubs fan, even though they eventually moved to the South Side. It became a family thing. But it used to be a little bit like movies. If you had a nickel, you could go see the movie. Oh, you know what?
I don't even
during the Depression.
I don't even want to tell you about this. I mean, when I was a young boy, for 25 cents, you go to the movies. You had a double feature, a cartoon, and a newsreel.
Amazing.
Those were good times.
Yeah, definitely.
Those were the good times. Hey, listen, talk to me about high-speed rail.
Let's talk about it. So I think in the last show, you kind of asked for some updates. You caught me flat-footed, and I got some updates.
I have never caught you flat-footed. I keep trying to trip you up, and you kind of slide away every time.
Yeah, that's right. Those are those tap dancing lessons I got in third grade. So, if you were to read certain newspapers, you might think the high-speed rail project is, doomed. Gotta tell you, high-speed rail just announced they have selected the winning design-build contractor for the fourth construction package.
So they're not doomed. They're still moving forward.
Oh, yeah, definitely still moving forward. In fact, this construction package represents another 22 miles of track that's going to bring us to over 100 miles of track. And then probably in a few months, construction on this new segment is going to get started. And the authority is progressively moving south toward Los Angeles. In fact, at this point, this last construction package takes them just to the northern part of Bakersfield. So we're getting really
close.
Yeah, getting close, getting down to the actually at a similar distance will have us knocking on Union Station's door.
So what timeline? And I know you can't give me a timeline because who the heck knows. But if you were to guess on a timeline, or how far away are we? Not miles, but time.
Yeah, I think we Angelinos will be able to take a high-speed rail train to say Yosemite in about 2020. That allows for some unexpected delays.
And how about San Francisco?
San Francisco, about 2023 or 4.
Okay, as it progresses farther and farther.
Right, yeah. Again, the authority is they basically started in Madera, which is a small city north of Fresno, and they're just working their way south. And they'll stop at Union Station, and then I think, then they start putting attention to going north, while at the same time extending from Union Station to Anaheim.
And then how about, are they going to go out of California? Will they go into Oregon and Washington, or will it just stop at San Francisco?
Yeah, phase 1 will stop in San Francisco. There is a second phase plan should funding be found, and that will extend from Madera to Sacramento, and then kind of in a roundabout way from LA to San Diego.
Okay, so when we talk about high-speed rail, if you're going to San Francisco, there's going to be stops. It's not going to be a nonstop thing, right?
Yeah, that's right. There will be stops. Yep.
And then there'll be train changes if you want to go to Sacramento or San Francisco or Madera or San Diego. There's going to be some train changes, I'm guessing.
I don't think so. I'm not sure what's going to happen because there'll basically be two fingers off. There'll be a main line from San Francisco to LA, and then there'll be a northerly finger that goes up to Sacramento from Madera. So basically, if you're in the Central Valley, you would need to make a decision whether you're going to go to San Francisco or Sacramento. Yeah. And then similar, or not so similarly, you would need to make a decision from LA whether you wanted to continue to Anaheim or to take a train to San Diego. I don't know if you'll be required to change trains or if they'll just have, for example, one operation would be a dedicated train from LA to San Francisco and a different dedicated train from San Diego to Sacramento.
Right.
And they can share the same track. Just don't schedule them at the same time.
Especially when you're using that term high speed.
Yeah, especially with high speeds.
It's never the accident that kills you. It's that sudden stop.
That's right. Yeah, speed doesn't kill; it's the stop.
Well, you know what? It's interesting. You think about these things. When you said 2020 sounds like it's that so far away, but it's only 4 years from now. It's not really far away at all. No,
yeah. Like I say, these construction packages have actually been moving along pretty aggressively. The first 29 miles started construction in August 2013. The next 100 miles, they started construction just a year ago. And the chief engineer of high-speed rail has recently reported that the right-of-way acquisition, the land acquisition, is moving along at a good enough clip that it's no longer hindering construction.
So wow! So if you're here in suburbs here in lonely Rancho Cucamonga, you pick up the Metrolink, take it to Union Station, pick up the high speed rail at Union Station. You want to go to San Francisco. Time wise, Union Station to San Francisco high speed rail. What do you think it's going to be?
Well, yeah, the high-speed rail is supposed to be 2 hours. It's about 2.5 hours.
Holy
from LA to San Francisco.
What a great trip that would be. I can see myself in the dining car or in the bar car or just relaxing. That would be a wonderful trip.
Oh, agreed. Like I said, people derided the putting the alignment through the Central Valley, but what we might not appreciate is not necessarily even on a clear day. Off to the east will be the Sierras, and you'll be able to take a nice look at those while you're sipping your scotch. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, I'm about to shed a tear. I'm feeling a little down because this is your last show with us. You're moving on. You've got some changes going on in your life that is going to keep you from broadcasting. I can't begin to tell you what a benefit and an asset you've been to our show, and how much I've really come to enjoy our time together. You're just quite a gentleman, and I've really enjoyed having you here. And you're going to be missed tremendously.
Well, Bob, I also am really going to miss these Wednesday afternoons. We've had the chance to talk about infrastructure and public projects, and I always really appreciate that you've made this not a technical discussion of stuff, but an enjoyable conversation. I have always enjoyed talking about what we try to do to build things more over a beer than or scotch than in some dry meeting room. It's big stuff. It's great to dream about, and I love talking about it. And it feeds something in me. We're doing something that people will benefit from for generations.
Yeah, you do good stuff, my friend, and you know what? It's been an absolute joy to have you on the show. I look forward to keeping contact with you. I have nothing but the utmost respect for you, and I think that you've been just a tremendous asset to our show. I want you to have nothing but the best in your future for you and your family. I want you to enjoy life. I want you to stay safe. I want you to be happy, and I want everybody who gets the opportunity to know you and meet you to know that their lives will be better for it.
Thank you, Bob. That's a tremendous blessing you've sent my way, and I wish you the same. Your show is outstanding. It provides a great service to all of the listeners, and I wish the Robert Cardoza Live Show continued great success.
Hey, thank you so much. And you take it easy. Take it easy on your way home. Give your lovely wife a hug and a kiss from me, will you?
Will do.
Good night, Ray. Now, for the rest of you folks listening to us, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to do the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, you know what? It's time for us to come down to the wire here a little bit. We're going to do the you know what? Let's just do it. Let's do the Harvard business tip of the day, and then we'll move along. You know, the management tip today is change bad habits by being aware of them. You know, you can't change them if you're not. You know, changing a habit doesn't have to take long, but it is hard, really hard. But when it comes to counterproductive habits like arguing or self-criticism or blaming others, turning our knee-jerk reactions into something healthier and more productive is essential. The first step is to be aware of your reactions. You cannot change something if you don't realize you're doing it. Think about what kinds of things set you off. Then consider the series of warning signs that precede them. Next, think about where you can recognize and cut off the warning signs, stopping the series from continuing forward. The earlier you can stop yourself, the better and the more you do it. The easier it will become. Try simply taking a breath to give yourself a few moments to calm down. Finally, work on replacing the counterproductive habit with something healthier. You can change your bad habits. The trick is to stop them in their tracks. Yep. And that's good advice. I'm telling you, always good advice. Well, you know what? It's time for the daily secret teaching for your life. And this is all about a positive mental attitude. You've heard me say it over and over and over again. I say it every single day. You actually do control your own life. No one else does. You decide if you're happy or you're sad, if you're healthy or if you're not. You decide if you're successful or a failure. You decide it all. And it's all because of a mental attitude. You get up in the morning and you set yourself off and set yourself straight. That is what you got to do. It's all about a positive mental attitude. It is nothing else around you. And it also transmits to people around you. You know, we may not even realize what our innermost thoughts are, but we can see what we have been thinking on every subject by looking at what has manifested in our lives. The good news is, what has been done can be undone. What has been created can be recreated. The method is simple. Consciously think and speak about what we want. We will receive confirmation through our feelings that we are on track because we're going to feel good. It's all about a positive mental attitude. I promise you guys, it works. I've been preaching to you about it. It works. Absolutely. Well, you know what today is? Sure you do. It's Wednesday, January the 13th, and it is somebody's birthday. And you know what? We've got some great birthdays today. And we're going to start off. This lady was actually born in 1961, an actress and comedian, best known for her role as Elaine Benz on the NBC sitcom Seinfeld. Happy birthday, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And here's a guy born in 1966, actor and race car driver, known for his role as McDreamy on Grey's Anatomy. Happy birthday, Patrick Dempsey. Well, here's a guy that we all should know. He was born in 1977, had roles as the elf prince, Legolas in The Lord of the Rings, and starting in 2003 as blacksmith Will Turner in the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. Happy birthday, Orlando Bloom. Yeah. Well, what happened today in history? Do you know? Well, January 13th, 1610, Galileo discovers the fourth moon of Jupiter. And in 1982, after takeoff, Air Florida Flight 90 crashes into a D.C. bridge and falls into the Potomac River. Wow, isn't that something? I remember that. And in 1990, L. Douglas Wilder becomes the first elected African-American governor as he takes office in Richmond, Virginia. Well, you know, our quote for today comes from Oscar Levant, and he says, "Behind the phony tinsel of Hollywood lies the real tinsel." Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? It's time for our interesting but useless facts. We've got a number of them. Hopefully you're going to enjoy them as much as we enjoy doing them. Our first one is, the first standardized system of measurement was created around 2700 BC in Mesopotamia. Yeah, give that some thought. Well, you know what? This next one, let's give it a try. You know, a Lithiacum, Maryland woman, dressed only in bra and panties, lost her balance while putting down linoleum in her home and fell smack into the glue that was spread on the floor. Now, according to Battalion Chief John M. Schultz of the County Fire Department, she became stuck to the floor mistake 1, but somehow managed to free herself after a while and called the emergency number 911. Now, when the EMTs arrived, they found her sitting on her couch, mistake number 2. She was now glued to her couch. She had crossed her legs, mistake number 3. Her legs were now glued together. And they also found her cordless phone glued to her hand. Crews using solvent-dipped sterile gauze pads eventually freed her legs, hands, and extremities. She refused to be taken to the hospital. Now, that's an actual fact, folks. How about this? Studies indicate that epileptic patients that listen to Mozart's piano sonata can dramatically decrease their chance of seizure. Now, isn't it amazing what music can do? Yeah. Try this one on. Running cold water over the onion and the knife will keep you from crying when you cut it, because water neutralizes the chemical that makes you cry. That's kind of interesting. I'll try that. I just try to just stay away from it. Did you know that armadillos can be housebroken? Give that one some thought. Well, let me leave you with this. According to law, no store is allowed to sell a toothbrush on the Sabbath in Providence, Rhode Island. Yet these same stores are allowed to sell toothpaste and mouthwash on Sundays. Now, give that some thought. Now, don't go away. When we come back from this last commercial, I'm going to answer your emails. My first one comes from Amethyst Fotinios from Arlington, Texas, asking about something about a full-time student. I'll answer that question right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:53 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 61 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, in Paris, France, it's currently 36 degrees and clear at 1:53 a.m. tomorrow morning. Well, you know what? We're coming down to the wire. Time for me to answer your emails. I want to encourage you to always contact a licensed professional before you do anything. Sometimes the emails you send us are a little sketchy, but we try our best to give you a good comprehensive answer. But always, always, always go to that licensed professional. One of the conditions of their licensing is that they have errors and omissions insurance, which is the same thing as malpractice insurance. But that does mean that if they make a mistake, they pay, not you. Let you sleep at night, right? Okay. Now, first email today comes from Amethyst Fitanios, I think it is. I'm sorry, Amethyst, if I'm butchering that. She's from Arlington, Texas. Asks about full-time student status. Says, excuse me. How many months must a student attend high school or attend school during the year to be a full-time student? Now, my daughter graduates from college in May after going to school for less than half the year. Will that make her a full-time student so that I can claim her as a dependent? Well, Amethyst, for a child to qualify as a dependent, the IRS says that he or she must be under the age of 19 at the end of the tax year or under the age of 24 if a full-time student for at least 5 months of the year. Now, her going to school for the 5 months through May will be sufficient to provide you with a dependency exemption for her if she's under the age of 24. So keep that in mind. Hopefully that's helped you. Next email comes from Ulysses Quintitero from Colorado Springs, Colorado, asking about convertible bonds and says, I'm considering investing in convertible bonds, but if I convert them to stock shares in the future, what will the tax consequences be? Will there be taxable gain on the exchange or only when the shares are later sold? Good question, Ulysses. And, you know, a convertible bond is one that gives its owner the option to exchange it for a specified number of shares of stock in the company that issued the bond. Now, usually, a bond owner will choose to make such an exchange only if the company's share price rises to the point where the shares received in the exchange have a value greater than that of the bond, so the swap produces actually a gain. But, even so, no currently taxable gain or loss results from such an exchange. Taxable gain or loss is deferred until the acquired stock shares are subsequently disposed of. Now, basis in the stock will be what you actually paid for the bonds. Hopefully that helps. Now, next email from Bilal Rubani from Los Angeles, California, asking about mortgage interest deductions and says, is mortgage interest deductible under alternative minimum tax? That's AMT rules. Are long-term capital gains taxed under the AMT? Well, Bilal, interest paid on a loan used to acquire or improve a home is deductible under AMT rules, but interest on home equity borrowing used for other purposes, such as a vacation, is not deductible under the AMT. Now, long-term capital gains are taxed at the same rate under AMT as under normal rules, but capital gains may push total taxable income up beyond the AMT exempt amount. That's $58,000 on joint returns, $40,750 on single returns. Here's the thing. It also may increase state income taxes, which are not deductible under the AMT and may create AMT liability. So capital gains may indirectly create an increase in AMT liability. So keep that in mind. My last email today comes from Caitlin Schenkel from Mesa, Arizona, asking if what happens if I win the lottery. This is timely since there's a $1.5 billion lottery going off on the Powerball here today. You know what? Here's what she writes. If I win a lottery that pays $50 million over 20 years, then die after 2 years, is the remaining part of the $50 million subject to estate tax? How would my estate pay all that tax when the payments will only come in over the remaining 18 years? Good question. And for those people, especially those ones that are going to win, somebody's hopefully going to win tonight, the $1.5 billion, this applies to them as well. The current value of all the future payments is subject to estate tax when you die. And finding the money to pay the tax can be a problem when most of the payments won't actually arrive until well into the future. Now, the simplest solution is to buy a life insurance policy that will cover the tax if you can, or make an arrangement with the IRS, which you probably can't. The best bet? Elect a cash payment instead. That's where my advice is for you today. But always, always, always consult with an insurance, tax, and financial expert who can plan out the best strategy for you. That is where you want to be. That is what you want to do. Always, always, always. Now, I want to remind you that Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts Monday through Friday, and we're on Spreaker Radio, we're on 405 Media Radio, we're on a ton of them. We're on 405 Media Radio, we're on Roar 1776 Radio, we're all over the place. We're on LinkedIn, Google Plus, and Podomatic. So you know what? Please get my app. If you're an Apple user, go to the Apple Store. Search Robert Cardoza Live. The app is absolutely free. It'll let you listen to us live or to our archives, and let's chat with us during the show. And if you have an Android product or a Windows product, just go to the Google Play site, googleplay.com, and do the same search, Robert Cardoza Live. The app is absolutely free. We appreciate you using it, and we'd appreciate you telling all your friends about it.
That's the show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.